welcome you all for our grammar class. In the last class, we have learned something about tense and especially about the simple form of the present tense, past tense and future tense. Do you remember that? So tense, what is mean by tense? It's the different formation of verb. The verb is changing its form to denote the time of the action. That is what called as tense. So in the last class, we have learned about simple present tense, simple past tense and also simple future tense. Okay. So in this class, we are going to learn something about progressive tense or continuous tense. Okay, are you all ready for our today's class? What is the first form we learned? The first form is simple form. And now progressive or continuous tense. We can say it as progressive or continuous. What does it mean by continuous? If I ask you to, if somebody is reading and if I ask them to continue, what does it mean? It means he or she should continue his reading. Am I right? So continuing or progressive, it is going on. An action is going on. For example, I am teaching or I am speaking something. I speak is different from speaking. I am speaking, which means till now I am speaking while saying this sentence and the action is going on. The process is going on. It hasn't complete. So the continuous tense means or progressive tense means an action is still going on at the time of speaking. If I am saying something about a person or if I am saying about you, all my students are listening. The word listening indicates that this progress or this action, listening is an activity that is still going on. You haven't stopped listening, you are still listening. The action or the activity is still going on. So, what is mean by progressive or continuous? The action is still going on. He is playing. Till now he is playing. He is dancing. So the action is continuing. It is going on. It's a continuous process, just like a train. It is continuing. So that is what called progressive or continuous tense. Playing, singing. Okay. So in this continuous form we have three kinds. They are present continuous tense, past continuous tense and future continuous tense. By looking at these topics, you may have identified what does it mean. Present continuous means a situation in which the action is going on at the present time. An action is going on at the present time. If I am talking something about now, the present situation. Past continuous refers to the action which was going on at that time in the past. Future continuous refers to the action which will be continued in the future, in maybe by next day or tomorrow or next week or next month. That is referred as future continuous. So continuous refers to an action is going on. It is progressive. Okay. Now, continuous tense indicates the unfinished action. For example, I am saying I am teaching, which means my teaching hasn't complete. Okay. It is not completed. So, this action or the activity it's an unfinished action. Teaching, it's an unfinished action. I haven't stopped my teaching, stopped taking class. So, it is continuing. He is playing, which means the boy hasn't stopped to play. He is still playing. She is still dancing. You are still studying. Okay. So an action which is going on, which is continuously going on at the time of speaking, that is continuous, continuing. It is going on. Still the action is going on. For the present form, how the verb will be in the present form for present progressive tense or present continuous tense. Now, first let's take the subject. Then, am, is, are plus verb in the first form plus ing. Verb is in the form of ing. ing refers to continuous form. It is going on, playing, singing, dancing, moving, listening, speaking. These are all this ing is referring, the action is continuous. It's like present participle form. Okay. So, here for present continuous, we have to add ing along with the verb. Is that clear? Subject plus am, is, or anything we can say. For example, I am playing. He is dancing. They are playing. Okay. Then verb plus ing. So ing, the verb is in the form of ing. Then it means it is a continuous action. Action or activity is continuing. Okay. Then, for example, I am playing. Here, I is the subject. Am playing. Play is the verb plus ing. Next, he is dancing. Dance is the verb plus ing. He is dancing. He is still dancing. Next comes to the past. For past already we know that was and were or the be form of the verbs for past. So along with that we are adding verb plus ing. So present, for present, what is the be form of the verb? Am, is, are plus verb plus ing. So for past tense, what is the verb form? It is was or were plus verb in the ing form. For example, I was playing. Here the word was, the be form of the verb was itself indicates that this sentence is denoting the activity or action which happened in the past. Maybe yesterday or last week. Okay. Was playing. Play is the verb plus ing, the form. They were playing. They were playing. Here play verb plus ing form. Now comes to the future tense. For future continuous or for future progressive, shall be or will be plus verb plus ing. The be form of the verb for future tense is shall or will, isn't it? So here for continuous tense we have to use shall be or will be plus verb in the ing form. For example, I shall be playing. I shall be playing. He shall be playing, which means in future or maybe tomorrow or next day or next week or next month, he will be, the person or he or she will be doing this activity at this time. For example, if I say, next month you will be studying inside your classroom, which means next time at the next month or next week at the same time you will be here in your school inside your classroom and you will be learning, you will be studying something. So what am I trying to say here is, I am trying to say an event or an action which will be happening in the future. Okay, so in the future it will be a continuous process. That's why I told this. So for present progressive tense, subject plus am, is, or plus verb progressive tense. It indicates unfinished action at the time of speaking. At the time of speaking, an activity or action which isn't unfinished. Okay, for example, my dad is reading the newspaper. My dad is reading the newspaper. Here, a girl or a boy is telling this to somebody, to her friend or his friend, that my father is reading the newspaper. Here, reading, it refers to the action is continuing. Am I right? The action did not get over. My father is reading the newspaper. He hasn't stopped reading the newspaper. It's a continuous process. Now, definite future plan with time word. The thing which hasn't happened yet, but it will happen. It's a planned action. For example, the PM is visiting Mumbai tomorrow. The PM is visiting Mumbai tomorrow. Here, visiting is showing that this action is a continuous process or continuous action, but it hasn't happened yet. It will happen tomorrow or the next day. So here, the future planned activity. It is a future planned activity. It is not the present activity, but still it's already pre-planned. So such pre-planned activities which will be continued in the future can also be noted in present progressive tense. Now come to past progressive tense or past continuous tense. The formula here is subject plus was or were plus verb in the ing form. Unexpected action of the past with or without time reference. For example, she was writing a letter when I entered the room. So here the action is still going on. For example, she was writing a letter when I entered her room. When I entered her room, it is a past action. When I entered her room, already another thing was in progress. Another action was in progress. Another action was going on there. What is that? She was writing a letter. When I entered the room, it's a past action. When I entered her room, she was writing a letter. Already another action was going on there. What was that? She was writing a letter when I entered her room. For example, I will say another example. When I entered the classroom, all my students were learning. When I entered the classroom, all my students were playing or shouting. Here, this is a past activity or past action. So here we have two actions. This action, when I entered the room, this is the past action. Along with that, another activity was happening, was going on there. What was that? She was writing a letter. Next, emphasize the length or duration of action. What is meant by emphasizing? Emphasizing means giving importance. Okay, giving more importance to something. So here, if you want to emphasize or if you want to give more importance for an activity, for an action, then you can use past continuous form of the verb. For example, she was watering the plant all day. She was watering the plant all day. Can anyone will water the plant for the whole day? For 24 hours, anyone will plant or anyone will water the plants? No. Here, she was watering the plant all day. This is the sentence. Why they mentioned this? Because they want to give more importance to the activity that this girl is watering the plants for a long time. So she's watering. It's a continuous process and it takes a long time. Okay. So in order to give importance to that activity, they are mentioning it is watering. We can say she watered the plant. But here she was watering the plant all day. So here giving more importance for watering, that is she is taking too much time to watering the plant. That's why they use here past continuous tense. Now comes to future continuous. For future continuous, subject plus will be or shall be plus verb is in the ing form. In future, an action or activity will be going on at a time, at a particular time. Indicate what will be going on at the time in future. Already I have explained about this. In future, tomorrow what will happen at this time? Tomorrow by this time I will be sleeping. Tomorrow at this time I will be listening to music. I will be watching television. So this indicates future action which is continuing at a time. Okay. Here. It also indicates future planned expected action. In future I will do this. For example, after a few years you will become a scientist or an engineer or a doctor or an archaeologist. Am I right? So you will be something. You will become something. So future expected activities. After 5 years I will be doing this. After 10 years I will be doing this. So this is what called future continuous or future progressive tense. For example, when I go home, he will be waiting for me. This action hasn't happened yet. But what am I saying? When I go home, the time when I go home, maybe by evening or night, he will be waiting for me at home. Next, she will be writing a poem when her friends arrive. This is also an activity which is expected from this girl. She will be writing a poetry when her friends arrive. Her friends hasn't come to her home. When they come to her home, she will be writing. They are expecting this activity from her. She will be writing or she will be do some activities at home when they reach. So future progressive tense or future continuous tense is indicating expected future activities which are continuously going on. Is that clear, students? So in this class we have learned something about continuous or progressive tense of present, past and future. Okay, continuous, just remember what is meant by continuous? It is going on. For example, the progress, the action or activity is still going on. I am teaching, you are listening, you are playing, you are sleeping. The action or the activity is still going on. The activity or action which is still going on is called as continuous or progressive form. So for present continuous, the activity is going on at this time of speaking. Past, an activity which was going on at the time of speaking. And the future continuous, an activity which will be going on. Okay, is that clear, students?
Continuous tenses: present, past and future. In a continuous tense, the verb phrase indicates an ongoing or incomplete action in the past, present or future. All continuous tenses are formed with a helping verb plus a main verb having an ing form. The verb phrase in the present continuous tense is formed with is or are or am plus ing verb. The present continuous tense indicates an action that is going on at the time of speaking or writing. For example, she is jumping. We are jumping. I am jumping. The verb phrase in the past continuous tense is formed with was or were plus ing verb. The past continuous tense indicates an action that was going on in the past. For example, she was jumping. We were jumping. I was jumping. The verb phrase in the future continuous tense is formed with will plus be plus ing verb. The future continuous tense indicates an action that will be going on in the future or is certain to happen in the future. For example, they will be going to the garden. I will be going with them. She will be coming too.